going to start the recording. Whoa. Did you guys hear that?
So strange.
That was like the first time I did that. I think it's like a new Zoom update. Baruch Hashem. So each time a person emerges from one level in order to rise to the next. We know that from last time, right? That's the goal to ascend, to go higher. The unholy forces attack him again in the form of the desires and fantasies, strange thoughts, mental confusion, distractions, and all kinds of other obstacles. As you're going higher, you're going to go through a bunch of tests. You're going to go through a bunch of nisyonos. They stand in an array against him, refusing to let him enter the gates of holiness. So I remember we spoke about this a long, long time ago, the illusion of the spider web. And maybe that's what Rebbe Nachman is pointing out here, where we're trying to go higher and higher and higher. As we're going higher in our avodas Hashem, we're going to experience these obstacles. The obstacles are literally spider webs right in front of us, where we feel like the spider web is restricting us from going past it, from moving forward, from getting higher. But really, there's so many holes. I remember iPhone 1, Moshe Shef made this chiddush. There's so many holes within the spider web. You just have to maneuver your way through, and you get through the spider web. Maybe that's what Rebbe Nachman is hinting here, right? We're building it up in our heads where like these obstacles are not allowing us to reach that state of holiness, to reach a higher world, to reach a higher place. Many sincere people become highly discouraged when they find themselves suddenly confronted by all these desires and obstacles. They start to think that they must have fallen from their previous level because for some time they have not experienced them with the same intensity since they were dormant. Right? Guys, you're in such a holy place where the sins, I mean, chas v'shalom, what you were, the transgressions, the sins, the bad behaviors you were doing maybe a couple months ago, they've relaxed because you reached such a high level. And when those quote unquote dead, I guess, temptations, those dead desires come back, you're like, wait, how can they come back? How? They were, I thought I eradicated them. It doesn't mean you're going down. It doesn't mean you're unholy now. It just means you have to work harder and you have to go past them. And you should never be in despair. You shouldn't think for one moment that you're going lower, that you're descending. When this happens, you must understand that what you are experiencing is not a fall. The time has come for you to advance from one level to the next. Dafka, the times when those old desires, those dusted desires that you feel like you've thrown away and you just threw in the garbage, and they've been away from you for so many months, so many years, you're not going down. It's just a reminder for you that you're ready to go up. You're past it. You're stronger than those rusty desires. Rebbe Nachman is giving us, or Hashem, not Rebbe Nachman, Hashem is giving us a test to show us how strong we are, how holy we are. It's Gewalt. This is why these same old desires and obstacles have reared their heads again. Whenever this happens, it takes great strength and courage not to lose hope, but to overcome all desires and obstacles again. Rebbe Nachman is telling us not to be in despair, rather to encourage yourself, to muster up all the strength within yourself, within the pneumius, insides of the insides, to fight those desires again and get to the higher levels, even the highest of levels, like where Moshe Shif is at right now with his background, the highest of levels. Just about Hashem, guys. Never despair. Really understand that you are so holy. We are so holy. And if we mess up, it doesn't mean we're going down. It means we have the capability of defeating that desire, defeating what's around us, and going to the highest of places. Yimir Hashem. Anyone have anything to say? Questions, comments? Please feel free. A lot to take in here. A lot to take in. And I think it's very fitting. I'm just going to add this Shtickle comment before everyone else unleashes. Maybe if you want to unleash in the insides and you don't unmute yourself, we know you're unleashing. Okay? But anyways, we just came off of Shavuos, fresh off of Shavuos, receiving the Torah. We're in the highest of places, right? There's going to be times, hopefully not, but in the next couple of days, weeks, months, years, where we're going to feel like we're going down, that we're not receiving the Torah. We're on a lower level. Rebbe Nachman is telling us that it's Shavuos every day. It's Shavuos every single day. And we have to know that. We have to know that, and don't think that it's not. Don't think that you're going to descend. You're going to go down onto lower levels. You're going to be at the bottom of the mountain, not receiving the Torah. You're always receiving the Torah. It's always Shavuos. Understand that you're at that level and you're only going higher. Just a little chiddush. I don't know. Shavuos every day.
Oy, Tate. So there's the phenomena of Kabbalah Satora, which we just went through on Shavuos. One point that the Torah doesn't mention Kabbalah Shavuos as the receiving of the Torah. Rather, it mentions the Chag of Shavuot as the time where the Korban Omer is brought. The Chag of Shavuot's association with the Torah is kind of coincidental, if you will. But there's no coincidence in Torah, so it's not coincidental, but it's Gewalt. It's only later, in the times of Navim, Ketuvim, and the Gemara, where we link the two. But that means that Kabbalah Satora, like receiving of the Torah, versus the time of the giving of the Torah, are two distinct situations. Right? We said yesterday in davening, Zman Matan Toratenu, this is the time of the giving of the Torah. But we know that, as you said, Jack, every day we're receiving the Torah. And this is the difference, which is talked about in a lot of Sfarim and philosophical works, as well as academic works. If they could be both, really. The difference between getting the Torah and getting the Torah from God, as in God giving it to us, versus us receiving it. While every day we have the ability to receive it anew, every single day, every single second, as Rebbe Nachman says so often that he would restart 1,000 times a day if needed. And it was needed. So too, we have the opportunity every single day to receive it anew. And we think for a second that we've done something wrong during the day. All we have to do, as David HaMelech said, we just run to the Beit Midrash. And if we can't find a Beit Midrash, we could make our own Beit Midrash. Beit Midrash literally means a house of Darush, of speech, explanation. Wow, I didn't even want to say what I just said. I wanted to say something totally different. The Bizatzner says that when it comes to failure and a journey of accomplishment, one needs to look at their journey as not one specific mountain in which they are climbing, but rather a series of multiple mountains in which they find themselves climbing, meaning to say that, let's say I am hoping to get to the old city, and voila, it's not happening. There's so much traffic, it's not happening. Pizatzner would say, Chevra, or he would say to me, Moshe or Samson or iPhone 1, listen, you just got to, I don't know where, the Tachana Merkazit. Great. Now get on the light rail. Wow, you just got off the light rail at Iriyah. Oh my God, that's amazing. You did a whole journey all the way from the Tachana Merkazit to the Iriyah. That's great. Now walk from the Iriyah to the old city gates. wow, you just did the whole journey. Now walk from the old city gates to the Kota, and what do you know? All of a sudden you're at the Kota. Rebbe Nachman would say that every single journey really has many, many mountains in which we climb over. And when we get discouraged that we haven't gotten there, he says, that we're not getting there, we have to look back and see how many mountains we've actually climbed and conquered. And this is, as you were saying, Jack, about what Rebbe Nachman says about us failing and us thinking that we're on a downfall. Really, what we have to know is that all we have to do is look behind us and see that we've climbed so many mountains, and it's impossible for us to say we've actually fallen backwards when really all we've done is got into the edge of another mountain we have to climb.
Just fire. Mamash fire, like your background.
I'm just in the forest.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Shifra. Anyone else have anything to share? Davila, Tamar, Janala.
I guess I'll piggyback a little bit.
No, you will piggyback, not
It's
again.
actually, I will piggyback. Ironically, in one of my classes today, in my Talmud class, academic Talmud class, we discussed the Tano Shalach 9 case, which is about Lo Bashmaim Hi, and in a sense, there is some human authority, creativity, internalization, which I think, going back to the receiving it every day, accepting it on our own, autonomously every day. I think that was a little ironic. I think it's truly beautiful and true. But to the point about the journey and falling, we're finite people. We make mistakes. In Kohelet it says, "Ein tzadik v'har sheseh tov v'lo yichteh." And in other words, it says, no matter what, you're going to fall. It's inevitable. Honestly, we're human beings, and we do falter. But I think that at the end of the day, as Moshe said, you can't say that I haven't gotten there yet, or look what because you can look backwards, sort of turn around, and that's I think one of the powerful things about Shabbat is that you sort of reflect. It's the last day of the week, but also the beginning of the week. So you're able to reflect and say, "Wow, what did I do What did I do last week? And now what can I do for the next week?" And what are you able to grow? And I think Judaism, one of the big things about Torah and Halacha, is that it's all about growth. It's so growth oriented. Everything, is about teaching and development. Torah studies, Talmud Torah K'nei Kulam. It's study leads you to action. Because at the end of the day, the engrossment in the intellectual or just the educational sphere is as advantageous to the individual in the community in their own ability to polish their skills and advance their own minds and capacities. I think at the end of the day, just to piggyback off Moshe, is that you will fall. You're going to make a mistake, and that's okay. Just remember that there's always so much good you have done, and so much good you can do. And so we're just saying, I fell. Start apologizing that I made a mistake, acknowledging it, and then just trotting forward, because there's so much you can give. And I think that's Rebbe Meir, and this actually goes to Elisha ben Avuya and the Acher story, that Rebbe Meir's whole thing is like, you can go back. You can always come back. There's always room to grow. There's always much you can do. And that might be a little bit of an extreme case, but I think it's an important lesson that there's always room for development and growth, and something we should always keep in mind, because the Torah is, our light in our own way to advance ourselves and better ourselves.
Unbelievable. And I think what you were saying so beautifully ties in obviously to what Moshe was also saying, right? Moshe was talking about the mountains. You were talking about Shabbos a little bit. I just love Shabbos, just hearing the word, right? It's also important, like you pointed out, John, the reflection part of this. Moshe was talking about the mountains. You spoke about a little about the reflections, right? So if we're able to reflect on the mountains that we climbed, and that we've ascended to. All right, Moshe posting some stuff in the chat. Gewalt. You'll share with us afterwards. It just gives us chizik, and it should just give us awareness and acknowledgement that we're not actually falling. We're not actually falling, and we're just trying. It's a big deal to try. It's a big deal to want to grow and to put an effort, to wake up 1 minute earlier than you did the day before, to say one more word in davening, just effort. And it's important to reflect on it. Maybe we should be doing daily reflection. I don't know. Everyone's different. But in a humble way, acknowledging what you've accomplished and what you're continuing to do. It's important. Just chizik. Anyways, Moshe, what did you share to the Chavra?
All right, I guess I'll explain. So we say those words in Shemona Esrei every day, 3 times a day for so lucky. We say Melech Memit Machaye Umatzmiach Yeshua. So we're clearly listing something when we say those words. Right? We're not just saying. Obviously, we're praising Hashem, but he's not only like a king who does everything. He allows those to live. He gives life to those who want to live, and he doesn't give life to those who don't want to live. Right? Well, he's basically a controller of death and controller of life. But the third one, the last, is we say Matzmiach Yeshua. And Matzmiach, the word Matzmiach means to grow and to sprout. So Kivyochel, and we know that a lot of the times in Torah there's the concept of the listing. We go by the last listing is the highest one, right? That's what we say in the bracha, in the first bracha. This is from the second bracha of Shemona Esrei. In the first bracha we say Melech Ozer Umashia Umagen, being the fact that Hashem protects us is the highest level. Obviously, he's the king, Gewalt. Right? Magen is the highest. And this being Matzmiach Yeshua is also the highest level, that he not only allows to live and not only allows to die, but rather allows growth in the world. And it's exactly what you're saying, John, that growth is basically the goal of our existence, of Judaism's existence, of what Hashem wants of us. And I was just sharing that small idea, and I don't know if I wanted to explain, but I did, and now it's out there.
Gewalt. All right, beautiful. Tamar, you have anything to share? Or we should conclude.
I don't have anything to share.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. Mirz Hashem, we should all be healthy, happy, successful. I hope everyone's Shavuos was powerful, was uplifting, and like we mentioned before, Shavuos, we're receiving the Torah every single day. The level we got to on Shavuos, we're on that level every day, and we're only ascending higher and higher and higher. And we have to believe it. We have to truly believe it, and not let us, fall in the trap of I'm just ascending. I was on the highest. I was on the peak. I was at the pinnacle, and I'm just going down. All right, then that's where we need to reflect. Mirz Hashem, guys. I think the Chaber frozen, or no, it's me. Bezrat Hashem should just be healthy. Whether you're in the woods doing Hibodadut, or really in Ariel University, expanding the bridges. John Seidel, going to work in the government one day. Bezrat Hashem, just enabling Am Yisrael. And Tamar, who's just strengthening the borders of Eretz Yisrael, Mamish, the biggest help in the world. Bezrat Hashem, guys, be safe, be healthy, and we'll continue.